It happened on a seemingly ordinary Tuesday, a day that began like any other, filled with routine and expectation. But then, the skies over Isfahan, Iran, erupted, a sudden and violent disruption to the calm. Grainy footage captured by distant security cameras began to surface. Plumes of smoke, dark and ominous, billowed into the sky, a stark testament to the destructive power unleashed, and the world, glued to their screens, held its breath, watching a potential crisis unfold in real time. News anchors scrambled to deliver the breaking story, their faces etched with concern. World leaders, caught off guard, issued urgent but vague statements, carefully choosing their words. And social media exploded with instant experts, each offering their own analysis and speculation. This wasn't just another regional skirmish, a localized conflict quickly contained. It was a jarring escalation, a red line crossed with devastating consequences. The polite mask of diplomacy, carefully constructed over years of negotiation, was ripped away, exposing the brutal reality of global power, the underlying tensions that simmer beneath the surface. Every bomb sends a message, a calculated act of communication through destruction, and this one was loud, a deafening roar that reverberated across the globe. The rules of the game had changed, the delicate balance of power irrevocably altered. The world watched, anxious and uncertain as the dust settled, revealing the extent of the damage, wondering what lesson would be learned, and at what cost. For years, stretching back through countless diplomatic initiatives, Iran's nuclear program was a tense standoff of sanctions, a constant back-and-forth deals, painstakingly negotiated and fragile, and ever-present threats of military action. But this attack was different, more precise, more impactful, a violent, undeniable shift in the geopolitical landscape. The bombing wasn't just about Iran, its nuclear ambitions, or its regional influence. It was a warning to the world, a demonstration of power and resolve. Written in fire, a blazing inferno that consumed not only structures and steel, but also the fragile peace that had been so carefully maintained. And the terrifying question that hung in the air, unspoken but palpable: what happens now? What comes next in this dangerous new world? The U.S. and Israel called it a precision strike on Iran's nuclear sites, Natanz, Arak, Isfahan. The goal? Prevent Iran from getting the bomb. The result? Global chaos. Allies offered tepid support, Russia and China condemned it, and the UN pleaded for calm. Iran's leaders vowed revenge, their people rallied, and the threat of retaliation loomed. Experts warned, this didn't end the danger, it multiplied it. The nuclear deal is dead, the region is on edge, and the global economy is jittery. The logic was to stop a future threat, but it's unleashed a dozen new ones. The precedent is set. Preemptive strikes are now on the table. The world is less stable, not more. The real danger isn't just the bomb, it's the thinking that justified dropping it. To understand the fallout, the complex web of international relations and the anxieties that drive nations, let's talk nuclear deterrence. It's a concept that has shaped global politics for decades, a delicate balance of power and fear. Nuclear deterrence is often compared to the angry dog in the yard no one wants to provoke. It's a simple yet powerful analogy. If you have nukes, you're largely left alone. Nations tend to think twice before engaging with a nuclear power. If you don't, you're vulnerable. You become a potential target, susceptible to the whims of stronger nations. Iraq was invaded on suspicion of WMDs, weapons of mass destruction. The justification may have been flimsy, but the lack of a credible deterrent made them an easy target. Libya gave up its nuclear program and was subsequently overthrown, a cautionary tale for nations considering disarmament. North Korea, a nation both repressive and isolated, is largely untouched, despite its controversial regime. This is because it has the bomb. Its nuclear arsenal, however limited, provides a shield against external intervention. The message to the world is clear, whether we like it or not. In the current global climate, nuclear weapons mean survival, or at least a significantly enhanced chance of it. If you're accused of wanting a bomb, even without concrete evidence, you might get attacked preemptively. If you have one, you get a seat at the table, a voice in international affairs that cannot be easily ignored. So, what's the lesson for other nations watching this unfold? Don't give up your nuclear ambitions, at least not if you prioritize national security above all else. The potential attack on Iran or any nation pursuing nuclear capabilities reinforces the idea that only nuclear-armed states are truly safe from external aggression and coercion. Diplomacy and international deals seem increasingly pointless and ineffective when military force appears to be the ultimate and often preferred answer. The world's most dangerous lesson, a stark and unsettling reality, is now on full display for all to see. The rules, if they can even be called that anymore, are brutally simple and unforgiving. Arm yourself to the teeth, or risk complete destruction and subjugation. This is precisely how dangerous and destabilizing arms races inevitably begin. The already fragile logic of nuclear deterrence is rapidly devolving into the logic of sheer desperation. As a result, the world just got a whole lot more dangerous and unpredictable, and with a mixture of fear and morbid fascination, everyone across the globe is watching with bated breath. Inside Iran, the internal debate, once vibrant and varied, is now definitively over. The landscape of political discourse has shifted dramatically. Moderates, who once argued passionately for diplomacy and peaceful resolutions, have been silenced, their voices drowned out by the rising tide of hardline sentiment. Their influence has waned, leaving a void in the political arena. Hardliners now assert, "We tried talking, engaging in dialogue, seeking common ground. We got bombed. Our good faith was met with aggression." The only answer, the only language they understand, is to build the bomb. Years of painstaking negotiations, countless hours spent in closed-door meetings, crippling sanctions that have strangled the Iranian economy, and broken promises, agreements abandoned, trust betrayed, have inexorably led to this perilous moment of decision. The nuclear deal, once a beacon of hope, is now definitively dead. Trust between nations is shattered beyond repair, and every conceivable diplomatic off-ramp, every avenue for de-escalation, has vanished into thin air. Any Iranian leader who dares to call for restraint, for a measured response, is now seen as either hopelessly naive, dangerously out of touch, or worse, a traitor to the nation. The attack, far from weakening Iran, has unified its leadership around a single, unwavering goal, the acquisition of nuclear weapons. The supreme leader's long-held suspicions and deep-seated distrust about the West's intentions are now, in his eyes and the eyes of many, undeniably vindicated. The strike, intended as a decisive blow to halt Iran's nuclear program, has only served to make its eventual realization all but inevitable. The critical knowledge, the scientific expertise, remains intact. The dedicated scientists and engineers remain committed, and now, fueled by a sense of national pride and righteous indignation, the will to succeed is absolute and unwavering. The international community, fractured and divided, can do little to effectively stop it. The strike was optimistically supposed to be a checkmate, a decisive victory. Instead, it has inadvertently become the opening move, a catalyst, in a new, far more dangerous and unpredictable game of nuclear brinkmanship. Iran is now racing, with unprecedented speed and determination, toward the bomb. The pressing question is no longer if they will succeed, but rather, how soon will they cross that critical threshold? And the world, it seems, is tragically out of viable options. This isn't just about Iran. The whole Middle East is watching, and panicking. Old rivalries, especially between Iran and Saudi Arabia, are now supercharged. If Iran gets the bomb, Saudi Arabia won't wait. They've already said so. Turkey and Egypt will feel the pressure to follow. Suddenly, the world's most volatile region could have 4 or 5 new nuclear states. None have the experience or safeguards of the old nuclear powers. The risk of miscalculation, panic, or technical failure skyrockets. A regional arms race is now almost certain. The nightmare scenario, a single spark could trigger catastrophe. The bombing meant to stop one bomb may have started a chain reaction. The world is now closer to a nuclear Middle East, and the stakes have never been higher. In the aftermath, we face a hard truth. Force breeds instability, not security. The logic of preemption, striking first to prevent danger, has unleashed chaos. Iran is now committed to the bomb, its neighbors are lining up, and the rules are gone. We're trapped by fear, not wisdom. The bombing was meant to prevent disaster, but it's made one more likely. We can keep escalating, or we can see this as a warning. Bombs don't build safety. Trust and diplomacy do. Unless we change course, we're setting the stage for a future catastrophe. The clock is ticking, and it sounds a lot like a Geiger counter.